Hello. So, technically, I'm supposed to be writing a paper for my class right now. Here's what I'm not doing. I'm not doing that. Instead, I decided to make a YouTube video. I wanted to make today's video about my mental health. It's a hot topic. If you've been following my Twitter, you've probably noticed that I haven't been doing so great on there. I'm okay for the most part. I'm just going through a lot, obviously. I mean, this is a lot to deal with and it's a lot to talk about publicly. And I love doing YouTube and I'm so grateful that I'm doing this. It's not YouTube, it's just everything that's going on, it's hard, especially because I'm getting close to midterms. I've already had a lot of midterms, and I have a lot more coming, so I'm just going through a lot, but I did want to talk about, how my mental health has been affected by the testosterone and by going off testosterone. And so I wanted to get into that because I feel like that's a very important thing I haven't really touched on yet. So let's talk about let's talk about before testosterone. Let's do it in chronological order because I feel like it's very important to understand where I was at mentally before I started transitioning. So I basically struggled with my mental health from age 12 to age 15, and then 16 was a different kind of struggle because I came out as trans, and obviously that was terrible for my mental health because I had all these things wrong with me that I wanted to change. But as far as just purely depression, anxiety, I've been struggling with that since I was 12, and going on to age 16, obviously I was still struggling with it up until I began testosterone, and that was actually something that really helped me. So I've talked about this a little bit before in different videos, but I was basically put on different kinds of medications from age 12. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I was diagnosed with an eating disorder and depression and anxiety, like I already said, but none of the medications that I was put on ever really seemed to help me very much. I really just struggled, and especially with a bipolar medication that was really intense. They were having me put on antipsychotics from age 12. I took those for about 2 years. So I took most of my medications until I was 15, and then I stopped taking them around age 14, 15, and when I came out as trans, I was on no medications, which was definitely a problem that should have been addressed before anything else was done, except it wasn't. I wasn't put on any medications. I wasn't put on a pill for depression. I wasn't put on anything for anxiety. I had no medication. I didn't want medication. All I wanted was the testosterone because I thought this is going to solve all my problems. And you know what? Full disclosure, it really helped. It honestly took away most of my problems with my mental health. But that doesn't mean that it was worth going on, because going off, they came back. It didn't change the way my brain operated. So all it really did, here's the problem. I used to cry every day before I transitioned. I was basically crying at least once a day. From what I remember, I know I cried all the time. I don't know if it was every day, but it was almost every day, and it was honestly close if it wasn't every day. Going on testosterone stopped that. It stopped my crying every day. It stopped me from really even being sad enough to cry. However, with some dire consequences, because I stopped having positive emotions as well. So I was stuck there without any negative emotions, without any positive emotions. I was literally just stuck, numb. I was becoming numb from the testosterone. Like, it was literally, it's so hard to think about, because I remember this feeling, and I remember that at first I was super happy with all of the changes, and I was really excited, and I was like, yeah, it's going to improve my mental health, it's going to make it easier to do things, it's going to make it easier to go to school, which it did. It helped me go to school. It helped me get my first job. Like, it literally helped me do so many things and talk to people and have a completely different outlook on life. And so for that, I am very, very grateful. However, it's not worth it. It's really not, because now here I am. Hi, I have all the same mental health issues that I had back then. Now they're just amplified because I look like I'm a trans woman and I'm not. And so I have to walk around being like, hi, I went on testosterone for 3 years. I basically went through male puberty as well as female puberty, and now I'm trying to live as a woman and I made it so much harder for myself. Oh my God, it's really hard to deal with that. So I guess I should, so basically for the first year that I was on testosterone, I'm guessing I was pretty much the same person as I was before testosterone. But after the first year, I'm pretty sure, like, I started just declining with my personality, and a lot of that had to do, I think, with me getting a girlfriend. And I really, it was a really toxic relationship for both of us. And that lasted for about like 8 months. And then after that, I was like, I have to rediscover who I am. But I'd say it was a mix between the testosterone and the relationship I was in. But it was very, like, unhealthy, and I had a very unhealthy, like, outlook and mindset. And so, honestly, like, looking back, I'm like, how did I not realize, like, how much I had changed? I think a lot of it was because I was in that relationship and didn't do, like, deeper digging as to why I felt the way that I did. I basically just put it all down to, oh, I was in a toxic relationship, that's why I, like, my personality changed, and that's why I felt so bad, and, like, that's why I am struggling and all this stuff, and didn't look any further or deeper into it, and kept going forward. And that was about 1.5 years, or that was almost 2 years into me being on testosterone. And so for the next year, I got more and more and more, like, out of life. Like, I wasn't, like, consciously, like, depressed, but I think that I was really not myself at all. Like, I had completely changed as a person. Like, I didn't have any deeper feelings. I never cried. I didn't have, like, really, like, happiness at all. Like, I was basically just a shell of who I used to be, and I was numb and, like, baseline fine all the time. But being baseline fine is not a good way to go through life when you can never cry, but you can also never be happy. I was like, I really miss feeling things sometimes. So it really sucked, like, going through that last year of, like, God, I didn't even feel like a person, honestly. Like, and anyone that was around me at that time would tell you the same thing. They'd be like, yeah, like, especially, like, my mom, she would be like, yeah, like, I don't even know who that person was. Like, I honestly don't. And like, it's so hard to know that I was like doing that to myself and that there was just like a simple solution, but I didn't even let myself think about it. So coming like into the last like year, so starting at the beginning of 2019, I was having, honestly, like the beginning of 2019 sucked, and for a lot of reasons, like there was just a lot going on in my life at that point. But it was great for like my life. Like I was very stable. I had like a routine, kind of. No, I didn't have like a routine, but I was working out on a schedule, and I was getting my shit together, kind of. Like I was applying for colleges, I was figuring out where I was going to go. And at this point, a year ago, I knew that I was coming to this school that I'm at right now. I had a scholarship to come here. I was really excited. I was like planning out my future being here. And so I kind of knew where I was going at this point, like a year ago. However, I didn't know, that I was going to be changing gender again. So from like February, like this time last year, until the day I started detransitioning, which was the end of August, everything was actually going really well for me. And I felt really good about where my life was going and all of my plans for the future and all of that. I started working on my last job in April, at the end of April. So there was like, I had like 4 months basically that I was working. I was really happy with my job. I was really happy with my life. And then I took a road trip, and it was like the best, like 3 weeks. It was so great. I loved it. And then I came to college, and it was amazing. Oh my God, the first week before I decided to start detransitioning, hot tea, was a really great week. I met so many cool people. I think it was actually the first 2 weeks before I decided to start detransitioning. I know, like, I did 1 shot of testosterone to myself when I got to school, and that was it. I did no more shots after that. So I think that was like the first week that I was here. And then the second week is on the day of my shot, I decided that I didn't want to do anymore, and that was it. So 2 weeks of college before I was like, hold on, I'm going to have an identity crisis real quick. Yeah, that's, oh my God. Sucks for me, honestly, because this has been so fucking hard, but it's been really great. And I'm really glad that I decided to do it, because I definitely needed to, and I'm glad I didn't wait any longer or have like another identity crisis like later on down the road. I'm just glad I'm getting it figured out now while I'm still young and like have time and don't really have any other responsibilities besides college. So once I got to school and then realized that I wanted to stop testosterone, I kind of had a very hard time, and I was like, is this gonna make my mental health really, really bad? I know I want to go off, but I don't know how my mental health is going to do, because I've been on for 3 years. That's such a long time, and I had literally no idea how my brain was going to be like, yo, we got estrogen back, like how fucked up I was during puberty. Like, I literally was so scared, and for the first 2 months, or honestly for the first like 3 months, like the rest of that semester, that first semester that I was here, I was like, I feel great. And I'm so happy, and I had no like hormonal problems at all. Like, I was great. I was just like, it's gonna take time, it's gonna be fine, like everything's gonna work out and it'll be great. And then winter break, I got really depressed. I think it's mostly because like all I was doing was working. I didn't have any friends in my hometown. And then that's when I made my first video at the end of winter break. And since then, my depression hasn't really gone away. It's kind of just gotten worse. And I'm dealing with like fluctuations of my hormones like every week. Like I feel differently. And testosterone was just completely steady. And so like basically I have like 1 week, basically like I think I go through like a cycle. I'm gonna call it that because that's what it is. It's like literally my hormonal cycle. I don't know why I put that in quotes because that's literally what it's called. So I have like a week during this cycle where I feel really good about life. Usually it's not all at once. Usually I have like stays in between where I feel really bad, but in total I usually have like a week during this month where I'm like, life is really good. I don't have that much to worry about. Other people have it a lot worse than I do. Everything's going great. I got my shit together a lot more than I did like 6 months ago. For many reasons, I'm honestly doing fine. Everything's great and everything's gonna work out. And then for like I don't want to say the rest, but maybe like the majority of the cycle, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I feel so bad about myself. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a plan for anything. I have to remind myself how bad my mental health was before I took testosterone, and that it literally solved all my problems. For like 3 years, all my mental health problems were just gone because I didn't have any of the fluctuations of my hormones. I didn't have to worry about all the stuff that I had worried about that was a problem for me before, which ended up to not be a problem for me anymore. Now it's like created its own problems. But I'm like, dude, I don't even know if I would have survived through the rest of my teenage years if I hadn't taken testosterone, because I was so depressed and I was doing so awful with my mental health. Like, I literally could not handle it if I had to go through 3 more years of crying every day, of being so depressed every day, like up and down, up and down. Honestly, that's where it's gotten again. I'm not crying every day. I'm crying like maybe once a month, but I feel really weird. Like, I just get so down for like days at a time, and that never happened before. And like, it's really weird and hard to go from a very stable mental health position to the point now where I'm like, I have no idea what every day is going to bring. I don't know if I'll be able to bring myself out of all the like funk and feelings that I have. And it's really hard to not be able to be like, yeah, I can just like pull myself out of this, like pull myself up by the bootstraps. Like, I can do that to myself and I'll be fine, because I don't feel like that anymore. Like, I had it all figured out mentally. Honestly, the testosterone just made me be like, you can just forget all of your problems. Like, they don't exist anymore. They're gone. It's the testosterone. It just makes them disappear. And then 3 years later, it's like, hello, we're back from vacation. Hello. So I don't know if like my problem is like the hormonal cycle. Like, if I need to like get on like an antidepressant for like part of the month or all of the month every day. I don't know what I need. Honestly, I feel like I need some sort of medication or something to help me. Honestly, like, since childhood, I've kind of been like against medication, but not in a way that it's like not for everyone. Like, I don't care what anyone else does, but for me, I always felt like I don't need this. It's not going to make me better. Like, it's not doing anything for me. Like, I don't need it. But now I'm like, I think I do need it. Honestly, because I'm having a hard time. And this has been going on now for like 3 months. Do I just have to wait until like everything balances out again? Because maybe it just takes a while for like the estrogen to like regulate. But then again, I'm also like, I was in my system for like 4 years and it just got worse. So, but also that was puberty. But also it's kind of like I'm going through puberty again because I had my fucking ovaries dead for 3 years. I don't really know. I honestly have no idea. I'm just gonna hope for the best for the future. That's all I can do because I'm just gonna go to therapy. That's the solution. I'm just gonna go to therapy and everything will be fine. That's another thing. I'm not going to therapy right now, and last semester I was going to therapy regularly, so I'm definitely gonna start going to therapy again. Actually, I'm gonna call them after I'm done recording this video because they told me to call on Wednesday, so there I am. I'm gonna call them. This video is kind of a mess, but thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free to tweet me. I am always on Twitter. Honestly, I'm on Twitter all the time. Please subscribe if you like my videos, if you want to watch more, and hit that bell if you want to be notified when I post a new video. It's usually every Wednesday. Sometimes I don't get them out until Thursday because I'm busy with school. But yeah. I'm just trying to work on myself, self-improvement, that's what they call it. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.